The screen is 5 inches, the resolution is 854 by 480. The screen is also protected by a toughened glass cover and also this 6061 aluminium enclosure. That's a hardened type of aluminium and that's been anodized very professionally. So we have this very nice finish on it. The grid DDU-5 is compatible with SimHub, JLT and also Z1 dashboard. I'll be using it with SimHub, so I'll run through a quick setup guide in one moment. But before you use it with any software, do make sure you install the device driver, as you may find that it will not function properly if you don't do that first. We get two different carbon fibre mounting brackets. Now this one here is specifically for Fanatec wheelbases. So front mounting, of course. Those are the two holes to mount to your wheelbase, and these slots are for carrying this display. And as you can see there, it is height adjustable. This second bracket is a universal bracket and supports a variety of other wheelbases, and just a different design, but essentially doing the same thing. Now interestingly, the holes here, these two there on the inside, also line up to those two holes on this bracket too. So you could essentially use this on a Fanatec wheelbase also. So you've got a choice of two options with the Fanatec side of things, but I guess that one's a tidier option. And of course some mounting screws that you will need for your wheelbase and also for this display. Check that out, that's a weird looking cable. But the other one is a standard looking USB cable, of course. USB Type-C socket and then the Molex socket. This did confuse me initially, as if we refer to the quick start guide, there's nothing really there other than how to attach this all up to your wheelbase. But there is a QR code that does go to a more extensive manual, so that is worth reading because it does tell me for hooking up a Browse 2. Now a Browse 2 is a small module with basically arrangements of extra LEDs, and I think you can daisy chain a couple of those units onto this display if you want to. So an optional accessory, it's not essential, you already have 20 RGB LEDs on this display to begin with. The sockets sit in this cutout, so although the plug is quite chunky, we retain the slimline profile of the unit. The initial setup procedure in SimHub is quick. Go to the Devices menu, select Add New Device. Scroll down the list of the hardware or type in a few letters of the device you're looking for. Select it and click OK. And it will instantly kick into life, pre-configured and ready to run. And then just select a dashboard you want to go with. Under the LEDs tab, you can edit the behavior and colors of the LEDs. And lastly, there's a handy testing feature, so you can see the LEDs working outside of the game. My wheelbase of choice today is the Fanatec Club Sport DD+. The grid dashboard display is perfectly placed in my eyeline and from the get-go began doing its thing, in part thanks to SimHub and the native hardware support. This setup takes merely a minute to click through the SimHub menus and then it's ready to work with any title supported by SimHub. The only decision I needed to make here is which dashboard to run. The LEDs are set up with a default profile without any need to configure them, but you are free to make changes to the colours, the LED flash timings and what telemetry is fed through. Since the USB cable runs parallel almost flush along the back of the enclosure, not pointing outwards, that allows me to set up my monitor right behind it, almost touching. I do like my monitor to be positioned near the edge of my wheelbase, so this is just perfect. I do appreciate this thoughtful element of attention to detail. It's a simple thing, but does elevate the practicality of the hardware. Wheelbase mounted dashboard displays are best suited used with open top wheels because regular steering wheels unfortunately obscure some portion of the display. Here's an example from my perspective. The top of the steering wheel is covering the top edge, hiding the row of gear shift LEDs. I have to lower the camera to chest height to see them through the gap. It's worth pointing this out to avoid disappointment, just so you know what to expect. My solution is placing the dashboard to the side of the wheelbase, and now it doesn't matter what steering wheel I use. To do this, I designed and 3D printed this alternative mounting bracket. It's made for 1-inch ball head ram mounts. Top tip, go to AliExpress to buy your third-party ram mount compatible accessories. It's the fifth of the cost of buying original parts. Ram mounts are fantastically versatile for planting gear like this and other hardware such as button boxes onto your rig. It's a great system, I highly recommend it. I've uploaded the model to Thingiverse, so if it's any of use to you too, you can download it for free. There's a link below. So that's how I did it, and this is where my grid display DDU-5 is going to live from now on. The 5-inch display is a Vocore screen. That's a perfectly good component. It provides a vibrant image at 60Hz, and the viewing angles are excellent. It's well suited for this purpose. The enclosure is precision CNC'd machined, 6061 aluminium, along with that scratch resistant glass. The grid dashboard display is made using high quality parts. SimLab have produced a no-compromise premium piece of sim racing hardware, and that is indeed reflected in the price. It is the most expensive sim racing DDU I've tested so far, but it's not the most expensive one you can find out there. If you like the features and appearance of this DDU and it fits within your budget, you won't be disappointed. This is a polished, well-presented sim racing display.